girl, hey! You about ready?
Yeah, I just got out of class. I'll be there in a sec.
Oh yeah, run into the podcast bit. I'll be there in a sec.
See you soon. Ugh, okay, cool. Let's get started.
Hey guys, it's me, Blaire Hastings, and you're watching FPTV's Open Mic Make Your Voice Heard edition. And today we've got Colleen Thurston from the U of A here in NWA. How are you?
I'm good. So happy to talk with you all this morning.
We're just so pleased to have another woman on board for, just having the women in broadcasting. So here is our co-host for Amber Karnish and Paula Blanco. And we're going to ask a couple questions for you, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Yeah, so Colleen, will you just introduce yourself a little bit, what it is you do, / what got you into filmmaking?
Yeah, well, I went the film school route. I went to film school and then started working in nonfiction production for television. I worked in DC and I worked for a public television show in Montana, and then moved. I'm originally from Tulsa, and moved back to Tulsa to work on a nonfiction television show there, and then found this position. I've always wanted to teach as well, and so now I'm teaching and working on a few documentaries as well.
Cool. So you're working on documentaries right now.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on right now? If there's anything specific that you have your eyes on? And
yeah, I have one project that I've been working on now for a few years. It's a feature documentary about water rights in southeastern Oklahoma, specifically in the Choctaw Nation, and revolving around the Karnish River watershed. It's kind of an ongoing struggle. The river there has been developed in the past with negative side effects, and it's at risk of being developed again. And then I'm also working on another documentary about a Native American art collection out of Bacone College in Muskogee, Oklahoma, which was a very notable Native art school for a very long time. And this collection was kind of recently, I hesitate to use the word discovered, but kind of unearthed, I guess, and the process of restoring it and breathing new life into this art program as well.
mm-hmm. That's so cool that you're working on those projects right now. And I'm just wondering, being a woman in the filmmaking world, that's sadly it adds a little bit of struggle for some different situations and stuff. And I was just wondering, have you had any struggles? Do you think it's been more difficult to do this kind of documentary and to reach the sources and stuff for you as a woman or not?
I've heard a lot of horror stories from other women in the industry, for sure. And discrimination is very real. I've been pretty lucky. I haven't faced a lot of that. I think the worst for me was when I was pregnant, and then, right after having a child, I did face some discrimination, and not given opportunities. So I don't feel like nowadays I really experience that because I am my own producer. But like I said, in the past, when I've not been my own producer, that's when I've kind of experienced that kind of discrimination. But I know the industry has just come really, really far. But, I think we need more women actually physically behind the lens.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's really awesome that me and Paul have gotten connected, because we both are people that want to be behind the camera, be shooting, and being the person behind the camera. So yeah. I like how you also brought up that you like working with women, but you also like working with men. I think that balance is so important. So I thought that was a really cool point that you brought up. And then also I've taken your class, and you did mention that you do like working with women editors more than other times. So what benefits do you think comes with having a woman editor?
Yeah.
Especially when it's like a woman directed project.
Right. For me, I'm a very like intuitive kind of director, and the people that I work best with are people that can take direction from me that sometimes is more based on like feeling. Like I want it to feel this way, or I want it to seem to give a certain mood, rather than like working with a cinematographer and saying like, okay, like we're gonna open the lens like all the way, and like talking about like the technical aspects. And so I feel like with female editors, and I've worked with amazing male editors as well, but having that kind of just and this is a generalization based on gender, but that intuition and that kind of emotive quality to it, I don't want to say like men don't do that, because they absolutely do. But for me to be able to just feel, I don't know, kind of like a safe space with my editor, because editing to me is very vulnerable. A project, the water rights project that I'm working on right now, it's a personal story. I'm actually in it. And so I have to be very vulnerable, and I have to feel like I can communicate with somebody in ways that are not just technical. Cut here, cut there. We need this shot longer. I need to be able to express myself in those vulnerable emotional ways. And so for me, that's just kind of, I'm a little bit more comfortable talking to a woman about that. And then also having a woman bring that own emotional intellect of her own into the edit.
So you are obviously very passionate about like Indigenous stories, and you're also a woman filmmaker, which are like two things that need to be represented more. So what would you say are some films that you would recommend that are stories about those things?
There is a film that I love. It's called Fast Horse by an Indigenous female director, Alexander Lazarovich. And that's available for free online. It's a verite style documentary. I'm part of a fellowship hosted by Firelight Media, which is it was started by Stanley Nelson, who's an esteemed documentary director. I think he's premiered more documentaries at Sundance than any other director, and his partner Marcia Smith. And it's a program aimed at supporting Black, Indigenous, and filmmakers of color. And they've released over the pandemic, just over the past few months, they've released a series called In the Making, and it is by and about Indigenous creators and creatives. And there's a couple of really wonderful little short documentaries in that, including one by a Native Hawaiian director, Kiara Lacey. She's, so those are all available online for free as well. Firelight Media, In the Making. So those are just a few that I would definitely recommend looking up.
Thank you, Colleen, for joining us on our open mic series today. If you all have something to say or you want to be on our open mic, you can just email us at admin@kpublic.tv.
And we're signing off, guys. Bye.
I thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. It was
Thank
good
you.
to see you again, Colleen. Thank you for joining.